Are you sure you want to be a real estate developer? Because it is not for the faint of heart. I've said this a million times. It appears super glamorous and sexy, but it is very hard work and it is a lot to get through. It can be a roller coaster, but you can also, make millions of dollars and have a ton of flexibility in your life. But I had no idea what it would take when I got into it. When I started in Nashville, I just wanted to build stuff that I thought was missing in the market. That was sort of my idea. And then it turned into the journey that I can talk about now. Very few entrepreneurs actually make it, but if you have the time and the grit and determination, I'm going to give you 5 things that will make your journey a success. I'm Meg Val Epstein, a real estate developer, a wife, and a mother of 4. I've completed 10 different commercial development projects ranging in size from 10 million to 100 million. On this channel, I tell you all about the journey and the lessons I've learned along the way. I got into real estate through the construction side of things, which is not the typical way a woman gets into real estate. I just really liked architecture and I liked finance a lot, but the market it was 2008. It was totally tanked. So the other thing I really liked was looking at house magazines, and like every weekend I would get Architectural Digest and like Dwell, and I would draw my dream home. And I just really liked houses and like luxury homes. Yeah. And so it just sort of was like a hobby. And then when the market changed, I couldn't go into finance. I happened to be going to school in the middle of like one of the nicest neighborhoods in the country. So I was like, maybe I can just build houses. I contacted the company and then I saw that one of the guys on the website was a UCLA alumni. So I got a connection to him through friends that knew him. And I called him and was like, hey, I really love what your company is doing. And he basically got me in with the project manager. I was on a job site in a construction trailer with a bunch of subcontractors running like anywhere from 20 to 50 guys a day on a budget and schedule building a luxury home. And then I got my GC license later. So I really learned construction first, was sort of how I understood real estate. There's easier ways to become a developer for sure. But the context is still very helpful and it's very strong project management. I also was building a home that was $60 million for a real estate developer. So that sort of planted a seed that, hey, if I could be successful at this, then, I was gonna do well, because he sort of mentored and taught me some things basically. So then I went from California to Nashville and I tried to do the luxury home gig here, which was a total disaster. Homes in California are $20 million, and that same house would be $1 million in Nashville when I moved. And so that was a disaster and taught me a lot about entrepreneurship. You can hear all about those disasters on my YouTube channel. Watch these videos. It did teach me a lot. And I knew that there were still things missing in the market in Nashville. So I bridged the gap from residential to commercial, which is a hard gap to bridge because a lot of people try to go from one industry to the other. I did that by taking my GC background, educating myself in finance to really become a developer. And now I've round tripped over $400 million worth of commercial real estate development deals. So if you want to have success as a real estate developer, these are the 5 things that you need to know. The first thing is choose a niche. Don't go into something that is what every single other person is doing. Right now, value add multifamily to start out, just like every other investor tries to do, you're not going to make good returns. It's not a good time and it's a completely flooded market. Choose a niche that is somewhat relevant to your experience to lean into. 2, find an absolute amazing deal. This is harder said than done. It does take a lot of work. It takes actually walking a market, knocking on doors, talking to people, networking, finding something that is not on the MLS or is on LoopNet, really doing the work to find a deal the scrappy way. And if it's an amazing deal, it will get funded in any market. So you have to have the right deal. That was the key to me starting my company, was I had a super profitable deal to sell. Number 3, it's a really good idea to find a partner that has experience. You can partner with somebody who's done this before, and a lot of times if you're bringing something to the table like that, they won't mind if you're giving them equity to make sure you're doing the right thing and partner with you and lend you a track record to get started. That's a really good way to have an overnight track record or get experience in building something, is by partnering with the correct people that have already done it. Step 4 is to reverse the risk for your investor. That means that put yourself in that investor's shoes. When you don't have a track record, you are bearing the risk of the deal and the time, your sweat equity. So you're not going to make money unless the deal is successful, and always put the investor's money first. As you develop a track record and you get more and more competitive and work over time, you'll have more investors than you have deals, because you get better and better and better at your job, and you can choose who invests in your deal. And you always should put your investors' capital first and make it a no-brainer for them. And the last thing is just executing on what you promise. I see many people raise capital for things and give up. I actually just found a site the other day that I was pitched a year ago, and I drove by the site and there's a bunch of weeds growing on it. And so that person took money from people, didn't execute on what they promised, and now I'm probably going to go try to buy it out of foreclosure. You have to execute on what you promise and do what you say, and do whatever you have to do that, especially if you're trying to become a developer. Every single deal you do will be scrutinized from here on out. If I have a loss, like, I always disclose that. Your track record is all you can depend on. So you have to execute on what you promise. And if you have a really good deal, you can always call me and I'll look at it. I always look at very, very good deals. So if you want to become a real estate developer, it's super important to really lean into that niche, find the right deal, and then execute on it. If you want to learn more about how I did that in my career, watch this next video.